Hi, in this short video clip we are going to make an application for business cycles with Excel and performance and evaluation. So this video will be actually good for those students who are understanding business cycles, but as well for students from a more advanced level who are trying to understand what is performance and evaluation in forecasting, because actually the errors, and you are going to see that errors are the business cycle. So and we are going to need to calculate some trends. So both type of students, a new and an intermediate level of student, are going to understand both topics. So let's go to my full desktop. So we start here with this material. I am just going to go very quickly. This material provides an overview to understand business cycle using real data. This exercise is based on the macroeconomic books of Leonard and Selgren in 1999. And then here we have one exercise. Yes, we are going to use the Penn world tables. The world cycle indicates for a long time economist that we need to find like these waves. We are going to call them business cycles, which are like a recurring, or they are going to denote shocks or persistent shocks in the economy. So the length and severity of business cycles is part of the Keynesian wishes to smooth the business cycles, for example, and as well we have had like many literature and research recently about how to smooth these business cycles. So therefore the length of the business cycles is very important. Okay, so let's hands-on. Well, we can first of all let's define business cycles as the deviations from real GDP from a trend. That trend is going to be, for us economists, the potential growth of the economy. So that is why forecasters and economic students understanding just the basic theoretical concepts can benefit from this video. Okay, so let's hands-on. So I will first of all for this lecture I will type the Windows key, Control and O. See, and here we go. I have here my actual keyboard, so I will show you what I am doing. So I press here Control C, is showing everything here underneath. So I will click here, Control and click, skip verification, and then I am going to go to the Penn tables directly to the side where I'm going to download the data for GDP. So I click here, I download the data, open the data, yes, and meanwhile this is opening, I want to carry on seeing what this tutorial is saying. Yes, we'll decrease a little bit the size of this, so probably it's going to fit better my screen to work with you. I think that is enough, right? So here we have that what we need to do is to explore the data and see what we have here in the legend table. So let's go to Excel to see if this is opening. 66%, but we can see here that actually what we are going to use is RGDPE, which is the expenditure side real GDP at chain PPPs. Remember that PPP is power purchasing parity, meaning that we are taking out distortion effects from the fact that, for instance, a hamburger cost here in the UK less or much more, for instance, than in a developing country, right? So because of those effects, it's very difficult to compare countries, so we have actually PPP prices that allow us to remove those distortions in the market. So here we have, as you can see, the data. Yes, the legends are here, as I am showing in the material. I am going to click here the Windows key and then the arrow, and I will be able to select both the material and the Excel workbook. So we will be able to work more comfortably, right? So the first thing that we need to do is to choose a country, yes, and then we need to delete the rest of the data. In this example, we are using Germany, but we can use anything, yes, in the reality. So I am going to choose here the data for Aruba, right? And this data starts in 1970. I will choose this one just for simplicity. You can choose whatever you want. And the idea is that you are going to see what commands I use here, because I have found that students sometimes, or people sometimes gets confused about what I am doing in Excel. So I hit Control, Shift, and the arrow up, and I select everything. Again, I type Control, Shift, the arrow to the right, and I am able to select everything. I just let the Shift on because I don't want to delete the first arrow. Yes, then I go right click and delete. So that is the way in which I am deleting information. So I am going to going to the end of this data in 2019. So I have data for the Aruban Gilda or Aruba, the country, up until 2019. And then I will click here on the number, in top of the number. Then I go and click Control, Shift, and the arrow down. Yes, and I have selected everything up until the bottom. I will get rid of that information as well. I hit right click and then delete. I will go to the top, because I can do that by hitting Control and the arrow up. Yes, and then I find myself in here. As you can see from this example, what I'm trying to get is to delete everything but the bit that is in white. Yes, so to be honest, I do not need this because I deleted the rest of the country, so I know that this data is actually for Aruba, right? So I delete this, right click, delete, and also I do not need all these indicators, right, so far. So I select some and I hit Control Shift and the left, the arrow to the right. Yes, I can delete everything, and that's it. I think I concluded this step, which is just simply deleting the information. The next step is to compute the growth rates. So this GDP is not in growth rates, so it's in actual amount. Yes, probably is in dollars. I think, well, I don't know, this is PPP prices. Yes, we will need to check what is the PPP in order to translate this to a different currency. But yes, as you can see, this tutorial is asking me to write this formula. Yes, the formula is B3 minus B2 divided by B2. So I'm going to do that here. This is the growth. I'm going to put my information here. I type equal. So the difference between this reading of GDP minus the previous one. I close the brackets. I have an error there. Yes, I will come back here to the formula. I close the brackets and I divide everything by the first reading. So I will get how much or at what extent this growth increased from year to year. Afterwards, I will increase the size here of my data set so you will be able to see more. I can do that by clicking in Control and then scrolling the size of my screen. Yes, so here we are. Yes, what I'm going to do is to go up until here. You can see that the cursor actually changed to a black cross, and there I hit 2 times and the formula will be copied down. Yes, so very quickly. So and in doing that I completed this and this step, and then from there what I need to do is to start the next part of my formula with some initial readings. So I am going to calculate a trend line. Remember that in order to get to know the business cycle, we need a trend line that in our case, the trend line is the potential output. So I will try, I can put, or I can write here a trend or potential. I will type potential, since we are trying to explain this matter. So I will go here to the cell D3, such as in the book, and I am going to type equal C3. You see, everything is in here, and that is the initial reading. I need something to start with, so that is why I'm going to start with this initial reading. But the idea is that what I'm going to try to do is a smoothing a trend. The smoothing trend, what it's going to do is to give a weight to one observation. Let's say, well, here is the formula actually. Perhaps I can explain this with the formula. I'm going to increase the size of this so you will see better. Yes, this is the formula that I need to apply here. Yes, so I go to the cell D4 and I type equal sign dollar H sign dollar 1. Yes, and I do this times D3, which is the initial value to compute, plus I have here 2 brackets, so let's do the brackets. This includes 1 minus sign dollar H sign dollar 1 close brackets and times C3. So what I'm trying to do is to give to this growth a percentage, and to this potential growth another percentage. What is the percentage? H1. I do not have that percentage yet. I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to the line H1, and I'm going to say that that percentage or that weight is 50%, meaning I'm going to give to that 0.5 the name of beta. Why beta? Because as you can see, 0.5 times the growth. Yes, I'm giving 50% to this growth, and also 50%, because this is 1 minus 50% is another 50% to the potential of the economy. Yes, so in doing that, I am doing a very simple smoothing. The name is smoothing trend. Yes, that I'm going to use to try to forecast the business cycle. So yes, and I use the sine dollar in order to get this beta, this constant fixed. So the 50% will run downwards. If I go here to the corner and it gets black, the cursor, so as you can see, a black cross, double click, and as you can see, all the formula is copied. I am using 50% of this number and 50% of this number to calculate the number below, and so on so far. That is the potential of the economy. It's our first forecast that we are doing here in Excel. I will come back probably in other of my videos to explain what are other forecasting techniques. For the moment being, just let's allow this trend. I am trying to explain what are the errors, the performance and evaluation, and business cycles. So yes, I concluded then with this part of this exercise. Yes, so we have the smoothing component, yes, which is actually in a rate. Yes, in order to compare what is my real potential output, my potential growth. I will type here my smoothing growth rate. Yes, I want to calculate the potential or the trend in the reality. I want to calculate a number such as the one that I have in here, right, in this column. As you can see, this is a rate, so I will be able to calculate growth rates here, and so it is not ready yet. So I'm going to say that the trend, the initial trend, so I need to start with a number, equals to this one, B3. Yes, so just in this case, you can see here in the figure, right? And then I am going to calculate the formula to the trend. Here we have the formula. So we are using in here the formula for smoothing is equal to 1 plus D3. Yes, D3 is this smoothing factor times the beta, the percentage, the weight, we put the sine dollars in order to fix that cell so it's not going to move, times E3. As you can see, I am using this potential, the potential of the economy, plus I fix the beta, sine dollar, H sine dollar 1, times B3, yes, which is this one. So what I'm doing here is giving as well, I am giving to this two figures, I am giving them the same weight, 50% and 50%. So 50% to the potential and 50% for the actual reading. So in doing that, you can see that I am actually calculating the amount of potential in amount and not just in rates. I go here to the corner and hit 2 times my click. I copy the formula down, and I am done with this part of the exercise. The next bit is to create the graphs. So in order to create the graphs, I will go here, I select A, I hit Control, and then, I will do it again. I hit here A, I type Control, I go here to the number E, hit Enter. Yes, well, I think it would be better if you let me just to start from here, because we do not have observations here, right? So I will go here, I will type Control Shift and the arrow down. Yes. I will go up, I will go at the top. Yeah, and meanwhile everything is selected, I will click Control, then I will click yes, and then I will click Control Shift and the arrow down. Yes, so I have selected everything. I mean, actually you could have selected, as in this example, everything. But I don't like is the fact that we do not have observations here, and I want this to be perfect. Yes, you could have done this as well, but I think it would be without one observation. And then finally I go to insert, and here we have different type of plots. I'm going to use this one. Yes, so this is the first plot that I have. Perhaps this one is looking much better, right? And this we have plotted here the potential. Yes, the potential growth for Aruba. Versus the actual growth. So we need to plot now the actual growth. So let's do it. So if we carry on here with this tutorial, you will see that we did this trend, and now, well, this is Aruba, this is Germany in this case. And now what we need to do is to copy and paste, yes, copy and paste this data here in this graph. So I will go here to this data. I will hit Control and arrow because I want to do this very quickly. I select the line number, the line B3, and then I hit Control Shift and the arrow down. I hit Control C. I go to the graph and I hit right click, paste. And there, guys, you can see the actual growth in orange and the potential growth of that economy. So when we have this blue line below the potential, we have a deflationary gap, or we have a negative gap. Yes. Oh, sorry, the opposite. When we have this blue line above this orange line, we have a negative gap, and contrary, when this blue line is below the orange line. In this case, we have actually a positive gap. Yes. So here we have, you can see that we have positive and negative gaps, and we have almost arrived to the concept of business cycles. We have succeeded so far in creating a trend and comparing that trend we call potential growth with the actual values. So now we are going to calculate here in this column, just to complete the exercise, the cyclical component, because we want to know the cyclicality of this. This cyclicality is actually the business cycle, right? And I'm doing this just by doing equal logarithm of B3 minus logarithm of E3. That is Oh, I came back here. I think there was like, I don't know, had like a black screen. So yes, I stopped here in which we have the logarithm. The only thing that I need to do now is to run this down, and then I will complete this business cycle. Once you complete the cyclicality here, this is performance and evaluation. You compare your forecast trend, the forecast of your trend versus the actual value. They are the errors, and the beta is your forecast, so the closer to zero your errors. So your best forecast is when your errors, the cyclical components, are closer to zero. In this case, we have used like any like a very simple forecast in order to find this cyclical component. The last thing that you need to do is simply plot everything. So I will go here to insert a graph. Oh, I think I will need, I better add the years as well. Otherwise it will not look nice. Control Shift, the arrow down, I go up, and then I hit Control Shift, the arrow down, and then I deploy this graph here. And these guys, this is the way in which economists find the business cycle of any economy. As you can see, the actual business cycle for Aruba is going down at the moment. So probably will not be a good investment if you have, for instance, an ETF for Aruba. Not a good moment. Yeah, I believe it's likely that because that economy is based on tourism, probably the business cycle will go further down to these levels. Okay, guys, I think that is pretty much what I wanted to share with you. I apologize for the interruptions. I have a black screen, but it lasted just a few seconds. Okay, thank you very much for listening.